TNA Wrestling. This is such an awesome time right now. Great things are happening. Just more eyes are on the product. They're selling out places on the road. Their pay-per-views, they're streaming, their events on Thursday nights on AXS TV. It's just been incredible. One of the constants for TNA Wrestling has been this just unique, eclectic persona, Rosemary. She's just awesome. It's just really exciting to see her development, her progress, especially in the TNA Knockouts division. So different, which is so cool. And Rosemary, I know you guys have some big things coming up in Louisville, August 30th and 31st. And at first, Rosemary, just talk about Rosemary and being a part of TNA Wrestling. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. What an excellent introduction to someone with our caliber. But yes, I have been a bit of a constant around TNA for the past several years. The only active competitor that's been there longer has been Eddie Edwards. So there you go, a cornerstone, if you will, of the current product of TNA. Rosemary, Eddie Edwards, and whoever else we allow to join us. There are very few that we tolerate, to be honest with you, Jim.
Rosemary, it's so interesting because you just seem just so, not only your in-ring work, but the work you do with your promos, just how you are on TV and everything. It seems that you enjoy as much of that as you do working in the ring. And I'm just curious about just what inspires you, what the Rosemary persona, and to be able to talk like that on camera and do your thing.
When we decided that this was the path that we wanted to take, our demon soul and our human meat suit turned into one. We wanted to join professional wrestling. But there are very few corners in the world that will accept the weird and strange and embrace it the way that TNA fans do. They are a little bit strange and weird themselves, and they will take something odd and make it theirs, such as they did with Abyss, which is they did with Roxy Laveau, who we absolutely adore, the Voodoo Queen. People like Daphne, they embraced the weirdness. And this was the reason that TNA had the big targeting ridicule over it when we wanted to choose where to go. And it's one of the reasons that we've stayed for so long, because we have been accepted, because not only of the in-ring competition, but our out-ring weirdness is allowed to flourish and prosper and evolve.
Well, Rosemary, you talk about being one of the cornerstones, and that is so true. I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts of the TNA Knockouts division? This Knockouts division, with this evolution, revolution in women's wrestling, really set the standard way back when, even going back to Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, and just going from there. And you've been a long-time constant of this division now. I'm just wondering your thoughts of how it has evolved and where it is today. Thank you.
Again, that was another one of the reasons, not just because TNA appreciates the weird and strange, but also because of how it portrayed the Knockouts division from the beginning, very much putting forth the image of women's wrestlers. There was not a single image of what a women's wrestler should look like. They look like this. They look like this. They look like Gail. They look like Kong. They look like Angelina Love. They look like Hamada. They look like Madison Rayne. All sorts of shapes, all sorts of sizes from all over the world. And it was very exciting. So why not the Undead Realm as well? And continuing forth, the spirit of the Knockouts division is still very much strong in the current locker room. There's so many different shapes and sizes. Again, Jordan Grace, the current champion. We've got Giselle Shaw. We've got Tasha Steeles. We've got Masha Slamovich. We've got little Alicia Edwards, who everyone would write off, but has turned out to be one of the most vindictive and vile creatures to have to face in that ring, because she's just will do anything that it takes to win, and that kind of spirit is admirable. And the Knockouts division are so varied, and so every single one of them is threatening, and that's exciting. We don't want to have boring battles, we want to have wars.
What's exciting is watching Rosemary compete, because she brings it all the time, and she brings it rough, tough, and so right in your face. It's just so cool. Her and Havoc made an awesome tag team, And you've been a multi-time champion, Rosemary, and especially lately, recently tag team champions and all. And I'm just curious for you, what was it like being a part of a tag team with Havoc and just being when you win gold? Is it important for you to win gold? I know it's important for your spirit and for that Rosemary persona and that vile vibe and all. But how important is it to you also to win gold?
It's important for power. It's the perceived power. No matter how strong you believe you are, if you're not the champion, then the rest of the world doesn't perceive you as the most powerful. It's a symbol. If you carry that belt, you are the most powerful. Everyone wants to fight you, and it means something. If you're the next one below the belt, then everyone still kind of wants to fight you, but they want to fight that person more. We want everyone to fight us. We want everyone to be coming for us. We want to test ourselves against everybody. And therefore, when you have the belts, you are able to do that because they'll all just come to you.
Rosemary, what have you thought of? I mean, lately you're seeing like a Joe Henry and Ash by Elegance, and you're seeing them on WWE NXT. And I'm curious, when you first saw that, what was going through your mind about Rosemary, the wrestler, and maybe about the business in general?
When you see your battleground, your home base, your territory being perceivably invaded by a foreign force, it is two things happen. Concern at the infrastructure. Perhaps, are we in danger? Do we need to set up defenses? Do we need to take out these interlopers of NXT? And two, you start to get excited at the possibilities of what battles could be set up with this relaxing of the borders. And you start to wonder, who might there be that Rosemary could play with? You're seeing Joe Henry go over to get to play. You're seeing the Rascals have a reunion. Whoever thought that we would get to see a treehouse segment again with all of them? You're seeing all this fun, all these surprise challengers for Jordan Grace's World Knockouts Championship. What about the weird kids? There's a Dreamweaver over there, Wendy Chu, just waiting to come play with another demon. How long must we wait? Perhaps they're worried about the kind of interdimensional destruction that two such beings would cause in the same space. We could protect it. It's fine. It'd be fun. Don't you want to find out? Don't you want to find out if it would just rip the fabric of space and time apart? Yes. Do it.
I love it. Rosemary said, and you know what, Rosemary? I'm writing things down because I see relaxing of the borders. That's a classic line. You always have some classic lines. I think we can come out with a
That's
book.
what we are.
Book of Rosemary. Yes, that should be something. Maybe we get Dr. Ross involved on this. The Book of Rosemary, all the different cliches, all the different lines by Rosemary. I think that would be a hit, a home run, Rosemary.
And how best to reach the hive than to put out a book and they all read your words? This is perfect. You've got something there, Jim. You've got something.
All right, Rosemary, a few more questions. Wrap this up. I'm so interested. TNA Wrestling, 8 p.m. Thursday nights, AXS TV, plus Roku channel. Shows a lot of TNA Wrestling from the past. Pay-per-views, shows, spotlights. It's really cool to see the growth of TNA Wrestling. And Rosemary, we talked a little bit about it obviously already, but what are your thoughts of the business in general and also just where you want to go with this now? You've been a staple there for a while. What is some of the things that just still get you excited and want to keep improving and going and getting better?
Everything moves in a circle. No matter how you perceive time as linear, it all moves in a circle. Everything was old, is new again. Everything comes back around. And in this day and age, with professional wrestling fans and performers alike, we are blessed to have access, not just AXS TV. We meant to do that. But to have access to so much content from across the decades that yes, wrestling changes. It's not the same as it was in the 70s. It's not the same as it was in the 80s. It's not the same as the 90s, the 2000s, and beyond. And perhaps that is the era that you prefer. Perhaps that was your time that you enjoyed wrestling the most, and has never been easier to watch it. Through social media, through apps, through all these archive services for professional wrestling, no matter the brand, no matter the style, no matter what kind of wrestling you want to consume, you can find it. And that's one of the best things about this day and age. There's all the people who complain about not liking this type of wrestling or this type of wrestling, but someone else does. And someone else has that bookmarked on the archive, and they want to find the weird stuff, or they want to find the high flying stuff, or they want to find the hardcore bloody stuff, or they want to find the big burly men who just beat the crap out of each other. It's very entertaining. Stan Hansen, go look it up, kids, if you haven't watched him throw a lariat or two. Very entertaining. And that's the best part. And TNA has their very own streaming service, was the TNA app. And they did just put out a list of, what did they call it? Rosemary's spookiest moments in TNA. They haven't seen anything yet.
Rosemary bringing it strong with the Stan the Man Hansen reference. I'm old school. I love it. Thank you for that, Rosemary.
We love it.
He broke Bruno's neck. Stan Hansen that's why Rosemary likes Stan the Man Hansen. He broke Bruno's neck.
Vicious, absolutely ruthless.
All right, Rosemary, you know what? You talk about power, and that's so important, and about getting gold and all. But let's go another aspect of that. Gail Kim working behind the scenes, a woman behind the scenes in pro wrestling and power. And your thoughts of the importance of that in pushing, elevating women's wrestling too.
Incredibly. Gail Kim was boots on the ground at the resurgence and the creation of the Knockouts division with TNA, and finally she was one of the most essential pushers to TNA and to the office to get a women's division, to get a Knockouts division and a place for women to showcase their skills. And to have that kind of passion, that kind of drive, that kind of person who, well, quite frankly, will not take no for an answer. You need them for a revolution, and you need them to keep that kind of evolution going on afterwards. The women's wrestling revolution, no matter which revolution you prefer, no matter which iteration, it is hard to argue that it was the Knockouts division that really brought it forth and forced the spotlight and the mainstream wrestling to put women in an opportunity to showcase what they can do beyond eye candy. And to have her still there, to have her endlessly and tirelessly pushing to keep that kind of quality and caliber in the Knockouts division in TNA, it's as long as Gail Kim's there, we're going in the right direction.
Well, Rosemary, I'll wrap it up with a couple things, but I want to say this: August 30th and 31st in Louisville. Check it out. TNA Wrestling, hot. It's going strong. Really cool. Also, 8 p.m. Thursdays on AXS TV. TNA Wrestling, 2 hours, excitement, storylines, promos, action in the ring, a whole bunch of things. Your work with Bravo, that was some of the best stuff. I got to say, those promos are really good. They were good, fun. They were also scary. So
can't believe he survived. How is he still alive? He's got to be the toughest human in existence.
And so
you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So Rosemary, I gotta say this, Rosemary. Hockey. Are you a hockey fan at all? Was Rosemary ever a hockey fan? Come on.
Of course. Are you kidding? What better sport could there possibly be than when you strap knives to the feet of the players? It's brilliant.
Rosemary, thank you so much. That was the best way to end that whole thing. Rosemary, thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate what you're doing. Keep having fun. Keep coming up with different things and all. And all the best to you in TNA Wrestling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, darling. Pleasure.